Hello, everybody. Welcome back to CCL Week 8. I believe I do see the caster cams there. They did just get taken off, but we are back with Week 8 of the CCL. So, Bianca, how are you doing? I'm Patrick Smoke Chambers, and this is going to be quite the week. Everything decided on this result in terms of playoff seeding. I'm pretty excited. What about you?
I am too. I think when we casted yesterday, we were saying this is the final week before playoffs. So whoop 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 whoop. Finally, I guess all the teams that ended up making it to playoffs are gonna feel pretty relieved. Ooh, and I gotta know who are the teams that we're gonna be going at tonight? Is anything at stake really? Is this win gonna really count for something?
Well, if you want, we can really pull up the leaderboards later on, but it's going to be Waterloo versus Western. We do see right there the players to watch. It's going to be Mod on Waterloo and Tracker on Western. You saw Tracker in the All-Star game. You also saw Dark and Oogs as well. So again, three All-Stars coming into this matchup. It's going to be a good one. I won't tell you the map. I hope you
Good, of
haven't seen
course.
it.
You
But
already know.
I think based on the map picks, this should be a very good series, a very close series. And yeah, that's just really going to be it. I mean, speaking to the numbers right now, the ones to watch immediately, what shoots out to me is the fact that the fact that the R6 tracker, I mean, he's got over 150 kills so far on this season. Through you got to remember what the 7 games that they've played so far. I mean, that's absolutely absurd. So again, or the 7 series that they've played so far. So that's absolutely absurd. A great job there from Tracker picking up the frags as needed on entry. We see usually manning that buck on attack and Legion on defense. And Mod's going to have to be the man to step up to the batting order if he wants to maybe take him down, give Western a little bit of something to worry about, and maybe take this series off of them. It's going to be the matchup to watch for sure. It's going to be one either picking off the other or the other way around. I'm sure we'll see it multiple times this series. But regardless, we're going to go to map bans very shortly, and
Oh,
there they are. That's the reveal. You are able to see it right there. It is going to be Western to start on attack on Clubhouse. Then we're going to be going over to Nighthaven. And if it goes to a third, it is going to be Consulate.
ooh, I
There you go.
hate Consulate. I like having club. I really like the Nighthaven pick, but as for Consulate, oh my god, I hope we don't end up having to go to Consulate.
I mean, I look.
Oh
I think
man.
it'll be interesting because Consulate is a map that we haven't really seen played, at least on stream, too much. Ironically, we actually have seen a lot of Clubhouse and Nighthaven. I'm assuming the reason why Clubhouse picks so much from these NA teams is just because Oregon
It's like,
is such a
yeah.
staple, right? And because it's
Mhm.
gone now and it's being replaced by Lair, which everybody just absolutely despises, at least so far, if I were to
No,
imagine.
you're right. You're definitely
Right? I mean,
right.
Clubhouse is the next safest pick for pretty much everybody. Again, I think that with Oregon gone, a lot of teams revert back to Clubhouse and Border. I really like that we are seeing a lot of teams go onto Nighthaven though. It's a map that I really love. I know when I was casting with the Whiskey Duo down in the Butler land, they said that they love Nighthaven and they were explaining why because it's a little bit of a mix between a couple of maps, a little bit of a mix between Clubhouse, a little bit of a mix between Border as well. So again, it makes for a really interesting play where you need 2 lanes of offense. I've gone on this tangent before to be successful in. So again, it's a very hard map to attack, but when the attack gets the steps needed to take place for the execute, it all becomes relatively easy when the going gets tough if you have those 2 lanes available to you. However, that will only be played first before we go through Clubhouse. So Clubhouse is going to be the map to start on, and let's just get started on some predictions. Bianca, who could you see coming away with this one?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I love Ma D, an amazing player, and of course he's the top frag. He's always doing great. So I have to say, I'm gonna be on Ma D's side. Ma D's whatever Ma D's doing, I'm right beside him. I'm supporting him. I hope that him and his teammates can walk away this game feeling amazing because I hope that they win.
Right, so I guess for rounds is what I was trying to say for Clubhouse on rounds,
Oh!
so what do you have the score actual score of map 1 being?
I haven't seen RC Strikers team play, so I have almost no knowledge. I feel like considering that this is gonna be the game of 4 playoffs, I would hope this is gonna be kind of a barn burn. I wanna say maybe like a 7-5 or even a cheeky like 8-6.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah,
I hope
absolutely.
it's
I
close.
think look, I think it will be close. I think that now as we swap over standings, give me Waterloo on the first map, and I think Western will take the second one. And I do think we're actually going to go to that consulate for our third map. But until then, let's look at the standings. Western, a team that a lot of people had fairly highly rated coming into this. Again, they have a good round difference at 18 positive. However, they've gotten into these overtimes a lot, and sadly, they just haven't been able to pull away with the win more times than they have been able to pull away with the loss. So, because of that, they are currently actually seated fifth. And again, this is going to affect it a lot based on where TMU Blue and McGill are. I mean, you can even tie ETS into this a little bit as well in terms of for seeding potentially. I believe if I'm looking at this right, if McGill and Team U Blue were to lose their matches and Western wins, I think it's probably looking more as if it's going to be Western seeding themselves into at least the top four or three potentially. So this is a big game for Western. On the side of Waterloo, I mean, again, they're hoping ETS doesn't win their series, especially if Waterloo loses theirs. So again, this actually is a quite an important game, and one that deserves a lot of attention because I think coming into it, a lot of people pinned Western as one of the top teams in Group B potentially, and they just haven't looked like it so far.
Yikes. Yeah, looking at that, it's a little bit disappointing considering that Waterloo's all the way on the top. So maybe tonight we're looking for an underdog win. Who knows?
Yeah, going into team cards now as well. There you go. There's the Waterloo team. If we can just pull that back up again, it's going to be the team lineup of Gugs, Oogs, Maudie or Mod, How Ironic, and Dark. With a total win rate of 75%, they are the best team in Group B. Night Haven Labs being their best map, Layer, not surprisingly, being their worst map. I have a feeling Layer is probably going to be a lot of these teams'
A lot
worst
of
map if
teams'
we were
worst
going to go
map.
through. Yeah. But now going over to the Western side of things, it's going to end up being their lineup that needs some name attention. And also, I want to see what their best map is and what their worst map is. I am actually quite curious on the side of Western to see what that is. And Border is going to be the best map. Bank is going to be their worst map with a lineup of Hishe, R6 Tracker, Lime, FanDuel, and VClec. So, again, placement fifth, total win rate 56%. I do think that Western, they should have probably been performing maybe a little bit better in this stage. At least I had them pinned to do so. But again, you never know, right? Anyone can take this. It's Rainbow Six Siege. It's CCL. Anyone can win. And right now we see kind of the statement of that coming into fruition because I think Western, they've just kind of gotten the short end of the stick a couple times.
Well, hopefully that will not be the case tonight. We'll see. Like you said, it's going to be a little bit interesting because there is a tad bit on the line for both teams, right? I'm sure that Western doesn't want to end up so low. And as for Waterloo, they're hoping to, bring this game home just so that they don't end up kind of getting, pushed below ETS as, it's decently close. And also it does depend on, how ETS does, especially if Waterloo don't come out too good this BO3. But I'm definitely excited to see how this goes down.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you are Waterloo, you really do want to just confirm your seating, confirm your standing. Again, you don't want to play any games. You don't want to lose this series, gain no points from it, and then have everybody else just gain on you. So again, you really, really need to make sure you're on top of your stuff, and you have to make sure that you are just locked in, making sure you're not making any silly mistakes. Clubhouse is a map where these teams have been playing it for years on end, right? So
Oh yeah, for
it
sure.
really comes down to more who's going to mess up more minor issues that then become major. That's a big thing for a lot of teams, because they already know every take, they already know every strat, every hold, most likely. They've seen it all before in the terms of
It's
every
literally
team,
like a
every player on every
Oregon
team.
2.0.
Exactly, right?
Every
And in that
call
case
out.
scenario exactly. And in that case scenario, whoever screws up the little things is going to be a big contributor to who takes the game, in my
That's
opinion.
why I always say, like, a lot of the time, especially for games like that, I feel like they're a lot more balanced, in terms of, like, defense and offense. It really just comes down to, like, what team is genuinely better at winning their ones or what team just has that mechanical edge over, the others. Because it's exactly as it said, a map like Club, a map like Oregon, even a map like Chalet, it's very a lot of strategies are basically done exactly the same. There's not too like much deviation and kind of difference when people are doing stuff, maybe the odd kind of, thing, but most of the time it's very linear and, simple. So I don't think that it really comes down to this map is so defender sided, this map is so offensive sided or attacker sided. It's more just which team ends up winning their ones.
Right, exactly. I couldn't have worded it any better. It's just going to simply come down to sometimes gun skill on engagements. Let's see how the bans work out, though. And that's going to be the Maverick banned out from the side of Waterloo. Pretty self explanatory. The Maverick is an easy counter to any bandit or arcade tricks that go down on the side of any of these walls, potentially Jacuzzi, and especially that CC breach is immediately what I think of. And I'm honestly surprised that Waterloo wasn't the first one to take this guy out, because we've been seeing everybody ban Montaigne so far this stage, and rightly so after the shield update. Everybody knows exactly how strong these shield operators are, gaining intel for free without having to risk losing a body, especially on Montaigne with the shield extension, and then can also be used to get aggressive when needed. So it's just a strong operator to have on the offensive side. You don't really want to mess around with it. Another strong operator on the defensive side you don't want to mess around with, especially on Clubhouse when we talk about upstairs and logistics and on to that bathroom wall looking into the jacuzzi breach, is that Mira. And finally, the Fen rear banned out as well by Waterloo. So Western takes out the Mira, Waterloo takes out the Fen rear, and because of that, we get to see someone on the defensive side that isn't usually available on Clubhouse. We're going to be able to see that Azami be in use potentially for those CC sites.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a bit surprised that I mean the mirror makes I can see the mirror, but having an Azami or even something like a Valk, feel like a lot of teams are usually banning that Fenrir now instead of like a Valk or something. But
Attackers need to
honestly, the
locate and
Azami is
defuse
insane,
bombs.
especially if it does end up coming down to holding CC and cash. I know that Rafters is just there's definitely going to be an Azami there. And as I'm seeing that Azami is on the board, like you and I both mentioned, it doesn't seem like Waterloo is going to be taking advantage of the fact that she is available. Not that she's really used every single site, but she's definitely a powerful operator. Considering she's banned all the time. But I guess that it's because she's so often banned, she's not necessarily used in a lot of defensive strategies. However, we will be seeing the Valk, which I had mentioned typically does get banned
10
on Club
seconds
as
left
well if it
before
isn't
insertion.
the Mira, but she's going to be able to be used
5
and will
seconds
be
left
used
before
by
insertion.
none other than Mahdi himself.
Right, so
Attackers' objective is to
immediately
locate a bomb and defuse
when
it.
I see this lineup, Bianca, I think, how are they going to utilize the Pulse and the Valk's Nitro cells? And the answer to that, ladies and gentlemen, is simply Valk cams put up into that kitchen area. That's immediately what I think of, is the fact that they will have Valk cams in that kitchen area. I don't think you're going to risk putting a Yokai drone up there from the Echo. I think that's maybe something that you want to keep a little more dependent on plant denial when it comes into effect later on in the round, or maybe concussing an
Oh,
entry. But what is going to happen on the entry side is Gug, who's going to go absolutely wild, swings out of kitchen. Are you kidding me, Gug? And immediately finds two. That's the Jackal gone and the Fuse gone. Pressure gone from kitchen. And guess what? R6 Tracker's gone as well. Mod able to find the pick. Immediately, the defense is just going absolutely ballistic. The attack almost had maybe no chance at all at even getting started. I mean, barring a miracle, this round is almost all she wrote.
oh my gosh, I love Gug so much. Gug was one of the first people that I ever spoke to in the CCL league. I love this guy. Him and Mahdi gotta be my favorite. I will not lie to you, but I'm not gonna lie. That aggression was that was a little bit not unheard of. That was a little bit surprising, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was not expecting that, especially first round. That Jackal literally straight up got caught with his pants down. He was trying to scan the feed and it wasn't
No
working,
way.
and it seems like he's just gonna rush
Oh
out of
my
here and
god.
get the kill all for himself. Oh my god, bro. Gug Dad, he's so good. And oh my gosh, the opening round for Waterloo, a flawless. Thank you, Gug, who was absolutely on his A game for round number 1. Beautifully done. And oh wow, that's gonna be a lot that Western are gonna have to deal with. The aggression from Waterloo is insane.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. Gug is on the orcs, just in kitchen, immediately goes to the kitchen entrance. There's not really much to talk about there. Just kills 2 and immediately then uses the dash to gain ground before the reveal of his position is known and finds the Hibana as well. I mean, again, just absolutely unreal. Goes back into kitchen and then peeks onto the Thatcher on the main stairs. I mean, we're just giving Gug 4 isolated 1v1 gunfights. And he's just gonna go ahead and win every single one of them. There was almost nothing the attack did in terms of getting any sort of progression onto the site at all. And that's a very scary round on the side of Western, because eventually when Waterloo does go back down to that basement defense, they can run the exact same setup. Western didn't... There were no holes that Western could exploit in the setup, because they were simply just all dead before they could find any. So now you have a setup on the basement site of Church and Arsenal that Waterloo could just hold on to and play the next time they go down there. I mean, that's an absolutely beautiful round and one of the best case scenarios. And Gug, am I even seeing that right? I don't even want to say I see that right, because underneath the storage window with the Caveira is absolutely disgusting. If that finds anything whatsoever, I mean, that's going to be inexcusable. Drone work needs to be done on that, and it's going to be a long day for Western if this cab gets left unchecked.
Well, it does seem like he's going to rotate around. He might have gotten drone, but he's actually going to be heading all the way back. Probably going to try and hit a late round flank if possible. But as for just about a minute into the round, not much has happened. None of people have seen other operators, and nobody has taken a smidge of damage just yet. I'm not even sure if wall is open right now. I'm not too sure. But anyways, seems like we already have that cache, or the CC, sorry, window opened up. Somebody's going to be watching that, looking for any openings if they can find. And as I'm saying, is wall open? Wall is indeed going to be open. That warden is going to be watching this. Of course, those flashes are going to stop him from getting blinded, and the first one to go down is going to be on the side of Western. I might just make it 2. There we go. Western now at a 2-man deficit. The boys in Waterloo are looking splendid.
Well, again, the Nomad's just going to hop into the CC breach and just get stuck. There's almost no support that comes to help her. And now, are they even aware of the Buck walking up the red stairs? Yes, it is going to be found out by How Ironic. But again, Tracker's already done a little bit of the work. But now, Mod also going to be able to find a pick onto Klectro. So, again, it's going to be Western, all things coming down to Hishe on the Thermite. And I'm going to be honest, there's pretty much nothing he can do in this situation. Waterloo has all the crosses, they have all the positioning, the Cavs trying to get a late Pokeball off. It's just not going quick. It's not going well. And it's going to be, most likely, barring an absolute sell and a half, Waterloo taking a second round on defense.
Yeah, I mean, Western just doesn't seem like they're prepared for Waterloo's aggression. Even if they are, it just doesn't seem like they're going to be winning any gunfights whatsoever. That is going to be the closing, finishing of the second round. Waterloo are going to take their second dub. And not only that, but I did notice that they ended up going CC and Cash before they ended up going onto that gym and bedroom site, which I find kind of... Or wait, no. Was that not the defense? Were they not defending that site?
Again, I think that when we look
Oh
at
my
the
God.
round, does it really even matter? Does it even matter, Bianca? Because that was so
Oh my God.
dominant. That was so dominant from the side of Waterloo
Wait, I
that
didn't even
again,
realize that they
it
were in Shipment.
it did nothing mattered. Again, there was no ground that was taken at all. So defending the side of CC and Cash now is going to be Waterloo again. And they might get away with a clean 3-0 sweep to start. And like I said earlier, then you can fall back on a 4th round with a defensive setup in Church Arsenal that Western, to be honest, haven't really seen yet. It's looking very good
10
early
seconds to
for the
insertion.
side of Waterloo. I believe Clubhouse was their map pick,
5 seconds
as
remaining.
Western maybe, I believe, was chosen to attack on the start, or maybe I'm wrong.
Attackers are
Maybe
moving out to
Waterloo
locate a bomb
was
and
the one
defuse
who
it.
chose to defend first. If it was Western's map pick to go on Club, probably that scenario. But if this is Western's map, if I can get that confirmed, Waterloo are off to a racing start, and this one could be done very earlier than expected. The Buck already down to 54 health. The Clash almost finding a pick. Gug on the Clash, I absolutely love it. Someone who's just as aggressive as you would think, playing on the Orcs, playing on the Cav, switching it up to the Clash as well, interfering with players, making them panic, not making them think straight, and that is not going to help Western's chances at all, because they've also just had a player DC.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Waterloo already so dominant in these first 2 rounds, and I mean, Western finding it very hard to keep up and just to do anything really, and losing that player is definitely going to hurt them, and I mean, would it have been different if that person was there? Well, let's find out if this round is going to be any closer than the 2 previous ones, because if they are, then yeah, you know what, maybe we might, oh, okay, well, 1 does go down. It is going to be an even playing field. So at the very least, Western does have a pick under their belt. But here's also the Azami that I was talking about. Just extremely, extremely powerful, especially for holding up Raptors. But it seems like at least Western is holding on to their own and not too shabby. If it wasn't for that random DC, then it would be a 5v4. Let's see if they're going to be able to play it a little bit better than they were these last 2 rounds.
Right, I mean, absolutely the first thing I think of in the attack is it really sucks, and I didn't actually, the DC came in before I actually looked at who that 5th operator was, because I was so focused on making the point about Gug on the Clash, who is actually gone now. So, again, like you said, even demand count, which looks good on the side of Western, but they're running out of time, and they need to push the zombie. Something I was going to talk about is that 5th player, you know, very impactful in the drone phase. I have to get the confirm as Collectro finds 1. Could have been a Capitao on the offense, and that would have been great for Western, but right now they're showing that they might not even need it to clear out the Azami. Usually a Capitao brought it to clear the Azami. No way the Azami just simply doesn't hear the Thermite walking up. Okay, absolutely dark with 1, dark with 2, and how ironic with another as well! That completely flipped the round on its head! Ironic with, I believe, a triple C4 as well onto the site, onto the ace. I mean, I thought Western might have had the pieces in place, but it seems left to be desired. Waterloo with a 3rd round, and they immediately turned everything around. I was going to say, that pause needs to come through. That would just be
Yeah, oh my god, I was
so,
looking at each
I was
other
gonna say,
I'm like,
we have a little bit of a tech problem right now, but again, we will just wait here until that player does come back on the side of Western. So right now, Waterloo, let's talk about what we've seen so far, right? So again, on the side of Waterloo, you gotta really look at the fact that Gug and Mod have really been just the absolute pace setters in terms of setting the immediate tempo of every
the
round,
tone.
finding the
Oh
first
yeah.
picks, right? Like, and I'm getting it in chat right now. It was actually Western's map. So Waterloo leading 3-0 so far on the defense on Western's map. And what I will say is from those first 2 rounds, sorry, I almost said this first few, from those first few rounds, I will say that Waterloo has looked so unbelievably dominant. I mean, it doesn't even look like Western had an inkling of what they were going up against.
Inkling. I love that word, inkling.
Inkling.
Wait, that guy's name is FanDuel.
Yes, it's FanDuel. Yeah, you put over the team cards. Yeah, we have
Oh my
FanDuel
gosh,
going up
I
for Western.
love that. Wait, I
So
actually love that.
going on the
Attackers need to
Thermite now
locate and
is
defuse as
FanDuel
many
to
bombs
start
as they
out.
can.
And again, like I said, would that DC have changed Western's fate on that site? Maybe, right? I mean, at one point, it almost looked like Western had everything in place. Like I said before, it looked like they were all sorted out. They had the picks needed. They just simply, it looked like they were trying to clear Dark out of Rafters, and that's where it all started to fall apart. And like I said before, I think an easier way that could have been done instead of giving up 2 bodies. That's why if you have that 5th player, you need to bring a Capitao in that scenario. It's someone who can clear out that Raptors position so easily, make the Azami have to panic and move. And again, I was just kind of surprised that I didn't see the Capitao pick coming out from Western. So it will have to be left to be desired. Again, I will watch the VOD back and see that confirm if the Capitao was the 5th player who DC'd. If that's so, that was very unfortunate for the side of Western, and Waterloo is going to get away with another one. So now on this 4th round, they're returning to that basement defense, like I said, and this is going to be very interesting because, as you can note, they played such an aggressive round the first time, and because of that, they have the luxury of saving their strat. So look at all the defenders. They've all turtled up. They're just going to play in the site because, frankly, Western doesn't even know what their site setup really looks like firsthand.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you. There's a couple of people that are kind of just hanging up upstairs, and by a couple, I'm talking. Wait, I thought that was the castle, but it's not. Is anybody upstairs at all? There's
No, they're
nobody
all on the
but
basement. They all says B, Arsenal Room, Utility, Basement, Hallway, Church.
Oh my god, yeah.
They are all, like I said, they are all turtled up because of the fact
So
that
what's the BP for?
nobody knows what the site on the attacking side looks like. They can have the luxury
Bro, this is
of
the
just
second
wasting
time.
They're just wasting time. These reinforcements are
They
all
think
bait so that
somebody's
they
there.
clear out the top floor.
Wait,
And just
this
like
is
that,
so
they've
tech.
wasted time. There's only a minute 30 left on the board. Every single member on Waterloo is in the basement. It took a minute 30 until that first Dokubi call came out. And now it's confirmed, yeah, there's nobody around here. So, yes, well, the attackers do realize now they have free claim to start making vertical progression onto the site. They don't necessarily now know if there's a lurk that could be happening, and they also don't know where these defenders are exactly positioned. Again, they have an idea that maybe they're just all turtled up, but they don't have that confirmation yet. And with the Valcams upstairs giving the defenders all of the intel on where this attack execute is going to come from, I'm liking Waterloo's chances again of taking yet another round. Again, these are just predictions. It could go completely wrong. The round isn't over for Western. There's still 5 on the board. But you've only got 40 seconds to work with. The Legion hasn't been dealt with. Just as I say that, the tracker is going to be able to deal with them. But again, new mines have been placed. The Valkyrie now gone as well. So this is really good from Western. They've made the first 2 picks happen. The drop comes in, the execute comes in, and it's going to be an absolute mess of chaos as the round pursues.
Oh my gosh, and as they're speaking, it just seems like it's gonna be a 1v4, but damn, despite the bait and the uncertainty of where these defenders are, it seems like probably the trickiest round to get around, or to get by, I should say, kind of mixing my
Yes.
words, but the toughest round to get by, and Western Union had Western Union. Oh
Western
my god.
University. Yeah, you got it.
Whoopsies. Definitely not Western Union, but Western University had just done it with absolute ease, as if it was, as if this was a tea hunt that they're doing. I mean, I could have never imagined that the round would have gone on that swiftly and that well for them, that in their favor. But it seemed like the bait wasn't even, anything for Western Union. Oh my god, Western Union. For Western to really have to worry about. Even as the time was ticking, they dropped, they got their picks, and they got out. That was it. A 4v1, a great situation for Western to be in. And it seems like Waterloo are going to be basically rethinking no more Valk this time. Instead, we're going to have a Rook on the board, which is going to be interesting. Not only that, but it seems like maybe a bit of a bar setup, considering that these hatches are going to be opened up, or at least that bar hatch is going to be opened.
10 seconds left.
Right, I mean, immediately a little bit of a different setup from this basement defense. You usually don't see that moto/bar hatch opened up, but this time, that's going to be the case. And I wonder, since the Mozzie, no, I thought maybe Mozzie, again, would be looking to play potentially from the top. Because I'm thinking about maybe you have that bar hatch open, because you open up maybe a little bit of a sightline from the top floor, from bedroom, and look down into the hatch, so that when attackers do go to the hatch, maybe you find a free pick from the top floor. That's what I was thinking. Dark is going to get it started, though, and immediately that's the vertical threat from the side of Western cleared off the board. The Ram's gone. And yes, while the smoke is probably one of your worst operators to lose on the defensive side, as that's your main source of plant denial, Waterloo still has 2 C4s online. So, again, yeah, losing the smoke is a little bit bad, but for the trade-off on the Ram, the fact that there's going to be no vertical play now in Kitchen, I really don't hate it. And I gotta say, as the Mozzie now picks up the Rook armor, they're just going to all turtle up. So now it's going to have to be on Western. And again, you know, with a minute 50 left, they still have time on the board, but this clock is going to tick down soon if no other form of progression is started on the site. Now, I will say Western made me eat my words before, but this time Mod's going to be able to take down Lime, and that's going to be the Jackal off the board. I will say with a minute 30 left, having the Jackal gone isn't the worst thing to happen, especially when you know that all members of the defense are in that basement, and because of that, they might have kind of, you know, clustered themselves up a bit too close. Mod's going to be going out because of it, and there you go. Dark now down for the count as well. So now a 2v3, and because they've turtled up, it's happened twice where they've kind of started to clutter up a little too close. I believe info is known on the Pulse. The Pulse swings out, and yes, Ironic is going to be able to pick off FanDuel. And because of that, now a 2-2 even count. Kitchen Hatch starting to get taken by the Hibana. It's still not too late. 55 seconds. It could be a bait just to drop that Moto Hatch. But now the Dokkaebi is also going to be gone. Oogs, they just the gunshots to try to see if they can deafen the hatch drop. But I have a feeling the Capcan knows the intentions. Or no, really the Pulse instead. I thought maybe the Capcan was going to swing onto it. But no, the Pulse will do so instead. A great job there from the Pulse. And now it is going to be Waterloo to take another round. So great job there. I thought maybe they had kind of got themselves a little too clustered up. My apologies, by the way. Again, just sometimes my eyes deceive me, but was the Pulse there sitting in blue as we saw before. So again, swings onto that Moto Breach, finds the pick. A clean round from Waterloo, and they take their 4th one so far. So now it's going to have to be Waterloo going, I believe, Jim Bed. That is going to be exactly what happens. Going to be interesting to see how they set this one up, but on the side of Western, they really have to find a way to deal with how Ironic.
I mean, I honestly thought that Western was looking really good last round, but unfortunately they kind of just fell a little bit short. We'll see if Waterloo are going to be able to take split at the 5-1. I remember they were going this side last time, and I didn't even know that they were going this side. They had such a strong presence, especially by CC and Cash, that I don't think Waterloo was able to get anywhere past CC and Cash. That was it. They were just basically on full lock. So I'm curious to see if Waterloo are going to be able to deny Western again as they try to make their way through, because I'm not going to lie, it was absolutely strong. It was powerful, and it was unexpected like 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 crazy. It was unexpected like crazy. We'll see if they will be able to bring split to a nice 1-5, or if Western can kind of bring it back a little bit. A 2-4 wouldn't be too bad. And on top of that, I feel like I always say this, but the mental chalk between a 5-1 and a 2-4 is like miles apart. So I hope that Western Union can oh my gosh, I keep saying Western Union, I gotta stop. I hope that Western can at least bring the score a little bit close.
I was going to say, I don't believe... Is that the default that hasn't been shot out yet? There's no way that Western lose a player because of a default that hasn't been shot. I don't know if that was a Valk cam or if that was a default. I want confirmation on that later. I almost am in disbelief that it was the default, but it looked like it was in the position of that default cam in Garage. If that hasn't been dealt with and a Western player died there, I really don't know what I would have said. But they do have the CC breach open. Now the struggle is going to be clearing out this Azami or the player looked on Eastern Stairs. It is going to be the Azami and Cash as well, held down by the Val. They have to clear out these Kiba barriers. And oh my god, Mod, have a day. That's going to be the Thermite off the board. And even though Mod has made a self-sacrifice, please don't peek into this. Please, Waterloo, just peel back. You've already done the damage. The Thermite's gone. But no, it's going to be Gug to peek into the player on East Stairs. And because of that, it's going to be now 2 that get lost in Cash. Absolutely horrible play there from Waterloo. If you just peel back, you can save those 2 players. But no, they get a little too overconfident, as some teams do when you're up 4-1. And because of that, right now, Waterloo are currently paying the price. Now it's all down to Oogs. We'll see if he can pull off this 1v3 in what honestly should have been a lot more of a closer round.
We'll see, just under a minute remaining, and that MP7 is gonna have to do all the talking. Western are able to take their time, drone it out, especially because there's two other players that they're able to use. It should be a round that's a win for Western. Just don't give Oogs his ones. I'm not too sure how insane Oogs is, but I can tell you Waterloo is not a team to scoff at. If the boys on Western are gonna want to win this, they gotta be extremely careful. There goes one. The headshot is gonna take a down Mr. R6 Tracker, and we're left in a 1v2. Now the Dokumi's also gonna take a little bit of damage. That MP7, I'm sure, is gonna be ringing in somebody's ears if they're not careful. This could be a great way to kind of sandwich him out. They are aware, or at least not they. Oogs is aware that Dokumi's already made her way in, and that she's gonna start planting the bomb. They're gonna be waiting for them, but Jackal
No
goes
way.
down. You cannot make this up. A 1v3 to a 1v1. It's a post-plant situation. Both decent HP, 85 and a 75, but a Boss G versus the MP7 gonna swing out a little bit. These boys cannot miss their shots. There's not the first shot of the Boss G. There's the second one to take down Oogs. Oh my god. He would have nearly clutched that up. Unfortunately, that will not be the case, and Western will leave split at 2-4. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself, but a near sell of a round.
I will say, I want to know one thing during that entire round. I want to know, and it was a good, idea from Oogs there on the start to rotate into bathroom. I want to know if that gym barricade, that gym castle barricade, was prepped. I've seen a lot of teams do it where they put up the castle barricade in gym, and just in case of a situation like this, the defender just needs to hit it once or twice in order for the entire thing to break, right? So you put the castle barricade down, you hit it 6 or 7 times, and you just leave it so that the defender can have an easy time of just taking off that castle barricade, which really spells surprise for the attacker on the other side, usually hidden behind that weight rack, right? After plant, right, Bianca? And if that was the case, that gives the bandit another avenue of...
I love that. I love that how you just randomly address me right. I'm so sorry.
No. I'm just making sure you're hearing what I'm putting down. I'm saying.
No, I'm catching what you're throwing. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I get it.
I'm saying that gives the bandit another avenue of just push to be able to find onto the Dokkaebi, especially when you take into fact that the Dokkaebi currently had the Boss Geo, not a gun that, again, I would think you'd want to have in a close range encounter, especially when it's off the MP7 operator like the bandit as well. I don't know. I think if that castle barricade is prepped there on that gym doorway, might be looking a little bit better for the side of Waterloo or Western, but because of that, anyway, regardless, the round's going to go the way of Western. So now that we've flipped sides, again, it is going to be Western to be defending the CC and Cash site, and because of this, it's going to be FanDuel on Western, who wants to try to replicate Waterloo's past defensive aggression, tries to run out from Jim onto Highway, but finds no one for his efforts.
They're trying to get like Gugger, but they just can't, and there we go. The first to go down is going to be none other than the Azami. However, she is going to be kind of blocked and barricaded off by her little Kibas. But are they going to be able to end up picking her up? I'm not too sure. I don't think so, especially with there's no dock. They're not going to be able to kind of simmer for her. So she might just kind of be used as a bait. The boys on Western better be careful. Not only that, but the smoke is extremely low. This isn't the smoke, but he is going to be really low. Not an operator that you want to lose early on. And not only that, but I mean, you don't want to lose the Azami early on either. With that, though, Maji is going to get taken down first before anybody is going to get taken down. And the boys on Western are going to have the one-man advantage, but we'll see for how long. It won't be for long, as Oogs will finally finish off the Azami. Bringing it back to 40.
Right, I mean, the one thing I want to talk about is the fact that with Mod being down and out for the count on the side of Waterloo, they're no longer going to have any smokes on the side of that Capitao to help them in their execute. They do have the Twitch with the smokes, but that's it. So 2 smokes, all you have to try to get your plant down. You don't have the luxury of having those Capitao smoke bolts in pocket Both of them were unused at the time of death for the Capitao, and now I believe that the player inside of Cash, as that smoke, has just seen Gug cross through top rafters. The breach goes down from the thermite, and now they can start planting, or at least they think, but they realize the vertical holes, the C4 goes out, it's gonna be a kill for Hishe, onto how ironic. The bomb is most likely now gone cold as the thermite was holding it, and because of Gugger on that fuse shield, it's going to result in probably one of the funniest picks you could ever imagine. Oogs and FanDuel getting some picks as well. So again, the fuse are cold to the side of the attack, but Waterloo, they're standing strong. Dark's going to be able to pick it up and start the plant now, and because the fuse has the shield, they can try to deploy cover, but no! Gugger, why would you not have your shield out in that scenario? That's an absolute throw there from Waterloo. And Western, the Legion, takes the luckiest double that you could probably ever imagine.
Oh no. Gug wanted that kill so badly. He got way too greedy. This is what happens when we take more, when we bite off more than we can chew. Gug is definitely him, but that situation, you
Why
gotta
would he
know
do
when
that?
to play passive
Why would
and
he do
when
that?
to play aggressive. You gotta think about winning the round versus winning your one sometimes. Sometimes it's better just to play back and to let the round do its thing. Oh my gosh, what a sell. But regardless, the first round of the split is gonna go to Western, and that was actually CC and Cash. I know that was CC and Cash now, which is very interesting because typically teams will that will be the tertiary, the final site. Seems like Western wants to get that done and dusted early off, and so now we're gonna be going to the basement.
Well, I will say the reason why we've seen teams picking CC Cash this game not as a tertiary site is because, again, they have that Azami, right? So they can use that in the Raptors position, and immediately that propels the site to being a lot stronger. That being said, I liked on the side of Waterloo that you brought the Capitao. The bolts were put on the left side of the Raptors, forcing the Azami to the right side, and because of that, she was able to get injured, right? But I just don't understand on the side of Gugger for why the shield play. What I can say is he's looking a lot better right now, is he's going to claim the first pick onto Western, looking a lot more composed, as that's going to be the Rook off the board. Now, I will say, for the side of the defense, the Rook is probably, you know, someone who isn't all that worth keeping alive. If you're going to lose someone in the start, Rook's probably your best bet, because that armor's already placed down. You've already given your whole team the self-revives and the bonus health. So, again, you're basically just a man with a gun at that point. The Rook taken down, but now can just kind of go on cams, stick on the Valk cams, and hopefully give comms out through there.
I mean, you're right. Rook is probably the least impactful kill to get on that on that defensive lineup. So at least if they were to lose somebody, it's not somebody insanely impactful, especially because there's no C4 or anything. It's really just like you said, a man with his gun. However, that's going to be unfortunate. The Vigil is going to get taken down, and I believe that that's basically everybody that's roaming. And so in that case, everybody's going to be basically backed up into sight. A 3v5 already for the boys on Waterloo. It's going to be at their advantage, and as I say that, a 3v5 will turn into a 2v5, as unfortunately R6 Trek is going to get taken down by Mr. Gug as he Gugs that, and now it's up to the smoke and the Valk, and it's 2v4. Luckily, it will ring in Gug's ear, but for how long we will find out, as we have just about a minute 20 remaining in the round.
Well, still, you know, it's doable for the defense, especially with the smoke and a Valk, with, I'm assuming, has a Nitro in pocket. I could be wrong about that, but we'll get confirmation on that. Yes, actually, I do see on the top, if you see through the utility, they have an Impact and a Nitro in pocket still. So, again, it's going to be the smoke now, who all the roles are going to be left to him in terms of how this round is going to turn out. It's now going to be all three of those gas canisters that, well, need to be used in a pretty smart manner if they want to deny any sort of push coming through or plant. However, what I will say is, again, has Gug already done enough for Waterloo to just come through and roll? I mean, the guy was already on a 3K. It seems like that might have been the case. Mod finding Hishe in blue as well. Are they aware of the smoke's positioning, though? They, for a second, thought maybe they weren't, but they are now. Oogs gonna be getting the plant down. A little bit of a misclick from the smoke through the smoke canister just onto that moto door. Because of that, again, it just wastes time. That call-out's been made. They know the smoke's in moto. They already have the players in position. The Ram being the one to clear it out. And again, it's going to be Waterloo taking that round. They go up 5-3 on Western so far. But you honestly kind of got to wonder if Gug, again, I hate to revisit the negatives, if Gug didn't troll on that Fuse Shield, they could have very well been looking at a 6-2 match point by now.
Of course, but at the very least, they're winning. I'm sure that if the
Attackers
round
will
Yes.
was a
Yeah.
locate and
lot
defuse as many
closer,
bombs as they
like I
can.
feel like if it ends up going like 6-6, then yeah, I'm sure the boys on Waterloo would be, you know, kicking themselves in the butt for that. And not just the boys on Waterloo, but obviously Gugger himself, he would probably be kicking himself in the butt thinking, damn, why did I do
Bomb
that?
located
But
by
I
attackers.
guess you could say the boys on Waterloo kind of have the luxury of being able to make mistakes and not really have to think about the downsides of them because they have an overwhelming presence over Western. That's not to say that Western is a bad team or anything and that, you know, they can't compete because, I mean, they've been doing good. It's not horrible. But I just think that the rounds that Waterloo have won have basically just been slides. Whereas the rounds that Western have won
Attackers are
have
moving to
been
defuse a bomb.
very close and, you know, very, I think apart from like one round that ended up being like a 1v3 or something, or like a 1v4, I can't necessarily remember, but I feel like the difference in the way that the rounds were won were definitely were a lot wider when Waterloo won versus when Western won. But anyways, I digress. Moving forward, if Waterloo can secure themselves this round, they're going to put themselves at match point in a pretty good position to move on to map 2 if that may be the case. And they might just get jiggy in here and start bringing all them shields out, getting the walls sorted and just running through. I can honestly see it happening.
Right, and again, now with the Thatcher combo with the Kali as well, this Bandit, in theory, it should be almost impossible to get the trick off. But that's just not going to be the case at all. Instead, it's going to be Lime doing God's work for Western, and that's it. They just have to vacate the Jacuzzi wall position. Lime with potentially the play of the game if Western comes back into this right now. That's going to be something I talk about for sure in post-game breakdown. I mean, you have a Fuse, you have Impact EMPs, I'm sorry, not a Thatcher, my bad on the Grim, Impact EMPs coming out. You have the Kali as well. I mean, how does that wall stay up? How does that wall stay up? It's just absolutely incredible. And heroics there from Lime to start the round early for Western. But now, it's going to be the breach that takes place. They need to try to establish cash control on the side of Waterloo. Messy gunfights ensue, and oh no, Waterloo, that is probably the last player you wanted to lose first. It's going to be the Blitz, gone and off the board.
Fortunate, it might just be a, it's gonna be a 3v, well, technically not 3v3, technically a 4v2 now as the boys on Waterloo are gonna be in a little bit of a deficit, but they're gonna get that finish off. It's gonna be a 3v2 now. The Kali being alive and see if it's gonna be any good. Snipes Madi looking to get aggressive as unfortunately gonna get shotgunned in the face. He knew that the castle was there. He pushed it anyways, and unfortunately, he's gonna leave Oogs all by himself. One snipe is gonna go out. That's gonna be a headshot. They are aware of where this castle is, but whether or not Oogs is gonna win this round, we will find out. With just about 30 seconds remaining, he's got this sniper, but I'm not too sure if it's gonna be looking any luckier for him as the time ticks lower and lower.
Well, I just don't understand why the aggression necessarily. I get it, there's not a lot of time left in the round, but Mod, you gotta take maybe just a smarter gunfight. You know the castle has a super shorty, right? I mean, swinging a breach like that, especially on the vault, is just so risky. 8 seconds left, and the Kali's got to do this with the SMG in hand. Swings around, knows the first one's in logistics, finds the pick, though, and now able to find the mute in Jim, potentially sees the feet holes, but no! Not going to be able to hit the shots critical necessary to down or finish off the mute in time. And because of that, it's going to be Western who end up coming back, winning that round, 5-4 being your score, Waterloo in favor. And to me, it's going to all come back for the fact that pressure could only come from the east side of the map because of what Lime was able to do on Jacuzzi Wall as that bandit.
Oh my god, absolute clutch. He was definitely a big impact for his team that round. But what's unfortunate, I feel like, is another time that Waterloo has kind of fumbled. They just don't know when they need to kind of reevaluate when to be aggressive and when not to be. 2 rounds now where your over-aggression has basically gotten the better of you and you aren't able to handle it. First it was Gug, and then it's gonna be Mod D. Like you said, you know that the castle has that shotgun, and not only that, but you put yourself at a disadvantage already at the at the beginning, hopping over, vaulting over. You're not gonna be able to pull out your weapon and pre-fire that nearly as fast as a castle is when he's just sat in a corner with a shotgun. So again, you gotta pick when it's right to be aggressive and when it's right to kind of scope out and figure out a better way to get things. But of course, at the same time, as time ticks lower and lower, you become less rational with your decisions. That you kind of just go for the fastest and the the fastest and easiest way to get through and kind of make a miracle happen, which unfortunately Mondi can't do. And so with that, well, it's looking pretty close. Western not doing too bad at all.
Right, I mean, I do want to preface from the side of Madi. I don't want to absolutely just, clown him for that. Again, I was very questionable on why that gunfight was taken, but again, it's a lot easier, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta remember from a commentary side, it's a lot easier to sit back and commentate than when you're actually in that moment. I'm a Siege player at the end of the day. I've had situations where, yeah, sometimes when a round's down that late, you're not thinking about the fact that, oh, it's a castle on that wall. Technically, they didn't know it was technically the castle on the wall. The Grim ping just came out and they knew there was someone playing close to it. But again, didn't know it was necessarily the castle and was holding it with the Super Shorty. So the scenario just ended up favoring Western at the time. But again, for the side of Waterloo, I think it's necessary to point out that yes, they have been a little bit too over-aggressive and it has gotten the better of them. But in early round, it's been absolutely amazing for them. And it's going to pop out again, as that's going to be the Legion off the board for Western. So we're seeing Waterloo get these early picks. They're just not able, as of recently, to finish off the round and really make it one for their own. And again, it looks good on the side for Waterloo in attack. They're finding these early entries. They just have to convert it. And if they could just simply do that at the end, when the going gets tough, if they could convert these entries into round wins, it would look a whole lot better for their offensive takes.
I think you basically said it perfectly. I think that Waterloo is really good at the early aggression, but when it comes to the later rounds, it's not always so good to be over-aggressive, and it does end up kind of biting him in the butt for it. Regardless, though, already some more aggression coming in, and with that, it seems like FanDuel is going to get taken down. Not only that, but another player on Weston taken down for the team, and it's going to be a 2v5 now with just under a minute remaining. Not only that, but even some pressure coming in from Dirt. It seems like all sides of the site are going to be making their way through. We're going to have some people by Blue, some people coming in from that Dirt, and it just seems like it's going to be harder for these boys on Western to be able to hold down their ground. Not only that, but Waterloo is also taking their time. The sling is going to come out, but unfortunately, Kershai is going to get taken out, and a flawless round is going to await the boys on Waterloo. Beautifully done, and not only that, but you are securing yourselves match point, finally, which should have been match point a long time ago, but doesn't matter. A timeout coming out. Western need to reevaluate. They're only 2 rounds from bringing this to OT. It's not looking too shabby.
And that round is how I can tell that Waterloo is a great team in general. I want to break something down for those who don't understand what I'm saying immediately. So far, we've seen on the attacking side, Waterloo have lost 2 rounds on the attack, not just because it's Clubhouse and it's more of a defensive side of map, but mainly because they're aggressive in the beginning, and they just keep the aggression up, and they don't stop. And eventually, as Bianca stated before, it comes back to bite them, because they start rushing their gunfights in sight as well. A place that benefits defenders when taking gunfights. I mean, hell, the site is specifically done and worked in a way to help defenders. Those sight lines used by the shotguns on the side of the defense, just simple stuff like that. The lineups created, it's meant to benefit defenders in gunfights in sight. So what I really liked there out of Waterloo, they got the first 2 picks. The third one was a little bit over the top, but it worked in their favor. They got the 3rd pick, and then what did they do? They paused. They just stopped.
They're learning.
They utilized their drones. They started communicating. They started thinking before swinging. And because of that pause that they took, even though it was only 10-20 seconds, they just stopped. Everybody on the map just stopped moving. And I'm going to bet I would be a betting man to say, again, while I am not in Waterloo's ears, I can't hear what they're calling out, I don't know what they're talking about.
Wall
I
fortifications
would be a betting
upgraded.
man to say that they stopped and they just evaluated where everybody were. They were saying, okay, where are you, where are you, where are you, right? Where do we think these defenders are? What do we have intel? Can we find them? They know the positions.
Deployed.
They let the defense come to them, which is something they have not been doing in those previous other 2 rounds. And because of that, they let the defense overposition, overstretch themselves, and they find that round because of that. What they are also going to find is themselves down a man advantage, and that might be the most horrible pick you could give up early. That is your Thermite, your Hard Breach, and, I mean, immediately, it's going to be rough, because now your only way into that site is going to be from one, because of the fact that the other one got tricked, one hard breaching charge that you have to either crouch or vault through. It's not the most ideal situation, but Gugger's making it work nonetheless. Finds the first pick onto the Bandit. However, how are they going to clear out the Azami? I like that they're bringing the Capitao to do so, but 2 minutes on the clock, there's got to be a move quick on this. And again, I don't necessarily know if that Capitao was going to make a move on Garage. Setting that second hard breaching charge down, I thought maybe if he, was looking towards red, I was like, maybe he puts the couple of the bullets in red to try to get that out. But no, will reposition, plays the way he should, and it's going to be Mod trying to clear the Azami out of this Raptor's power position. There it is. The Capitao bolts come down. It forces the Azami to reposition, peek the door, and there we go. Even though it meant that Mod had to die, it's going to fuel Guggerton to a double kill, and that's exactly how Team Siege is played. Because of this now, with 1:20 left, they have Raptors control, they have a breach, and it shows that if you just play coordinated, play as a team, and sometimes it may require baiting people out, it does end up being the fact that Waterloo currently have the round advantage, but they can't get stifled here. They have a minute, and they have to make a move soon.
It's good. That was an amazing play. Flushing out that Azami, and like you said, baiting one of your teammates in order to get that other pick was absolutely incredible. Like you said, Waterloo now up on the man count, and there is a lot of time on their hands to get moving. Gugger's already going to try and get a little bit active, although he is a bit of low HP. Unfortunately, that dog is going to get taken down, though, as they're going to see him through those head holes, and with that, it's going to be R6 Tractor left in a 1v3 with just about 30 seconds remaining on the board. The plant is also going to start going down, and I mean, when you're spraying that LMG, it won't matter. Gug to get the final pick for the round, and that is going to be solidifying and closing map number 1. I mean, I gotta say, Gugger having an amazing first game, the aggression from him, just the team in general. But I gotta say, Gug, not only that, but what was his name? Ogus? What was his name? Uzu?
Oogs.
Oogs, there we go. Oogs was great as well. He did absolutely amazing. And I just, like I said, I think Gug did amazing. The aggression was incredible, and I'm happy they ended up winning that out. It was decently close, but like I said, I feel like the rounds that Western won, and this isn't like to, rain on anybody's parade, but I do feel like the rounds that Western ended up winning were close to like 1v1s, 1v2s. Whereas when Waterloo won, it was like basically by a landslide. It was either like a 1v3 or a 1v4 or a flawless. So I definitely think there is a difference in skill slightly, even if the scores don't show a full 7-0 sweep. But with that, congratulations to Waterloo for map 1. All we can hope for is another close map 2, which will be played on, I believe it's Nighthaven.
Yeah, that second map is going to be Nighthaven Labs, and again, let's just break down what we saw real quick. It is going to be the fact that Waterloo are going to be able to take Western's map off of them, so now they're going to be heading into their own map pick on the side of Nighthaven Labs, and I mean, honestly, I don't see, again, Western, prove me wrong, but the mental chalk could be a little bit going down right now. They need to take a reset. Western needs to take a little bit of a reset. They need to kind of collect themselves before they go into this labs map because again, Nighthaven it's not a map that everybody knows just yet, or at least everybody has as their strong suit. Again, Western, clearly, you would think maybe they're okay with it because of the fact that they didn't ban it out earlier. There were obviously maps where I think that Western thought were more of an important ban, hence why we're not, we didn't see them ban out labs. But again, Nighthaven, it's a pretty decent map that, again, when teams know it, they really do excel and sometimes make for some of the least close matchups ever. So I think that Waterloo, if I had to make a prediction, should take this one into Western. If you prove me wrong, we head to Consulate. Hey, all power to you. But so far, it's been a little bit of, it's been pretty much all Waterloo in terms of what I was expecting to see so far. And again, they're just proving why they are number one so far in their group. I really like what I saw out of Waterloo, and I don't think I'm going to see any really big change ups. I think they are going to take this Labs map handedly if I was going to put down the prediction. And that's with them starting out an attack. I'm getting a little bit bold on this one, but I truly do think they should have Labs in the bag.
Honestly, I feel like labs. I'm not too sure the actual exact like what's it called? The exact kind of like ratio between the defensive wins and the offensive wins. But I feel like Night Haven isn't horrible. I think that it's more of a balanced map when it comes to attacking and defending. But then again, I think it also depends on the team. But like you said, and as I've mentioned, I feel like the skill set that Waterloo has versus Western is completely different. I think that Western does need to kind of work on a couple things, but I think overall, like it really just comes down to winning the ones. And I think Waterloo have the edge a lot with just overall aim mechanics and everything. I do think that it's going to be hard for Western to kind of pull back, especially from losing on club. It would be great to see a BAP3, but I don't see it as being likely, which I'm happy because I love the boys on Waterloo. Like I said, I love Mondi, I love Gug, but I do think that if the boys on Western do want to see him at 3, it is going to be a steep, steep hill to climb.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I don't know if we're going to be taking a short break. We usually do before these maps, but again, it just depends on when the teams are ready to go. So I believe I have gotten the word from the back room that we will be going to a short break. So before we do that, I'm just going to quickly make one more point. I think on the side of Waterloo's attacks, because they are going to be starting on the attacking side for Waterloo, at least they should be. It should be Western who start out on the defense so far for Nighthaven. On the attack for Waterloo, just play patient. You're very aggressive in the start. That's great. But when you have everything, you have the pieces in place, you have your execute ready to go, let's just mental reset, boys, okay? Let's just calm down. Let's
Yes.
use what drones we have left with 40 seconds left in the round so that we can set up a really good last 30-second execute with the utility we have left. Saw it a couple times where it would come back to bite them. They wouldn't really set up as much. They would just kind of go, 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 and they'd pay the price on rounds where they kind of mentally stopped, reset. Even on the last round, I know it was just kind of, one of those things where they were just chilling on rafters, but again, they waited, they played time, and they got the result they wanted. So again, we will come back to you with a map 2. It's going to be Western, it's going to be Waterloo, Nighthaven Labs. After this short break, we'll see you in a few.
Whoop whoop.
Going to get planted. Uniquely is almost got it 2-2. Actually finds Sonic Canadian. No name finishes off as Pro. The diffuser planted. Bulbous finds Uniquely. Canadian finds actually the 1v1 scenario with the diffuser down. The big wrap coming in from Bulbous. TMU needs to get this one. He's gonna sneak up right behind him. Can he find him? He knows. He gets it, and Canadian finishes it off. Windsor walk away 2-0 tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
He's in piano.
Gridlock is in cigar. Gridlock in cigar.
Oh, I'm leaving cigar.
He was on piano. On piano. Oh, nice shot. Oh! Oh!
Metro taking care of open is for the taking, at least unless somebody comes in and tries to flank.
Third time's a charm. There you go. Strike via post. Get that mirror window down. Helio ends up finding a second. But Helio finds a third. 4-2. Ladies and gentlemen, do we see the ace, the quad for Helio? Eyeballs the last. There it is. An ace in the pocket of Helio. Helio is back. TMU is back. We are getting closer, but it is still match point.
Windsor has not picked Monty once. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're in round 4 right now, and so far. I have not seen a single Monty pickup.
Yeah.
Are we, is it an us thing? Do we just like the Monty a lot? Uh-oh. Caught in the rotation hole. Actually, the rotation hole wasn't big enough for you. Uniquely, gonna end up getting the opening pick here of the round for you, Windsor.
And even though it's down to a 2v5, the positions they're in right now is so strong that it's gonna be able to get 3 kills! What is going on? Set up the air jabs to watch flanks so they can just get right in there and probably not even have to worry about CCTV or anything. Just get in there and flank that.
1, 2, 3!
1, 2, 3! Boom, boom, boom! Mod wants you in his room!
Holes from below inside. One's on the holes, one on the bird hose, one of the people on chassis. Look below you.
Where's last?
Below you. Oh shit.
Oh wait, I didn't kill him?
Nice go.
On his cam. Still on his cam. Still on his cam right here. Another one's still on his cam. Off cam.
Oh my fucking god!
Lawson's master.
Yo, this guy just hit a fucking clip, bro. Holy shit.
Hold on, let me. Oh my fucking god!
Yeah, idiot. So he's gotta watch out for that. Oh, nice on that Claymore. Gugger with a quick flick into Fountain. Takes down Otter, and he knows through the wall, and he sees it. That's unbelievable, and he gets the call out from his teammate. There's somebody's above hatch, and he makes the play for it. He drops it. Oh my god!
He gets the ace. What?
Defenders have disabled the bomb diffuser. Bomb diffuser.
I spoke too soon. That was.
Attackers have recovered
30
their
seconds left to go. Diffuser going down. Of course it's a bait. Goes for the pre-fire. Doesn't end up finding it, but wraps. And Helio ends up getting the triple kill, tied up 1-1. But the HP bars would say otherwise. The tuber out full. The buck not at all. Down he goes. The buck ends up finding it. Helio getting another one. Getting the quad. And putting us 1 up for TMU in overtime.
Je sais pas si Georgian peuvent récupérer de ça. Non, oui, on l'a vu. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. No way, bro!
God, Michael.
What are we doing? Georgian! Wake up! Is this our... In there, like swimwear, Fico. Another pick. Arthur le volé. In. Oh, Fico. Ah, Fico qui fait des wallbangs. C'est overachieving. Il est tellement bon! Il est tellement bon! Je veux l'arrêter! Washington c'est le dernier.
Welcome back, everybody, to CCL Week 8 action. It's going to be Waterloo versus Western, Night Haven Labs, Bianca. Y'all ready for this one?
Yes, map one wasn't too shabby on club, and so now we're going to be moving over to Night Haven. If you guys missed map one, the boys on Waterloo ended up winning pretty nicely with a 7-4, and now they're hoping to win this one out. If you are a fan of Western, well, you're hoping that they're going to be bringing us to map 3, but their performance on club wasn't, it was a little bit lackluster. Hopefully this game, now that it's a new map, it's a fresh start. They've kind of gotten a little bit of the memo when it comes to how aggressive Waterloo can be. Hopefully they're going to be able to adapt to it and play a little bit better, get a closer game, and bring us going onto the third map, which maybe we'll see. It's going to be Consulate, but for now, we're focusing on the task at hand, as it is going to be Night Haven.
Right, I mean, again, Night Haven, a map that is so complex sometimes and yet easy to other teams. Again, I think that Night Haven is a map where you need 2 lanes of offense in order to really lock down positioning and lock down rounds on the side of attack. What I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen, and I will always reiterate this when I talk about Night Haven Labs, is you need pressure coming from 2 different areas. Not very close together either. Sometimes for, like, let's say that server command side, you need pressure coming through connector and electrical, and then you also need pressure coming through command hallway, for example, or top rafters, aka catwalk. Those are just examples of 2 lanes of pressure. When I talk about, you know, that, and again, I think that that is really something you need to have on every site in Night Haven to find round confirms on the attacking side. Night Haven is such a scary map for the attack. When a lane gets shut down, it gives the defense so much more room to work with and really peel back. But right now, Bianca, let's see what the bans are looking like. Night Haven Labs, Western on defense, Waterloo on attack. Let's get this thing started.
I'm going to say, I feel like I'm going to be predicting already the Monty, that's fine, but I feel like we're going to see a blitz. Well, actually, considering Western had just banned Monty, maybe we won't see the blitz ban. I feel like a blitz ban would be great here just because, I don't know, I feel like a blitz might be good, but instead, it's going to be an Ash. I was going to say, maybe we get all the shields off, not all the shields, but most of the shields off the board, but instead we're going to be getting rid of the Ash, which might be good for the Miras if Mira does end up staying on the board, which also doesn't make sense because Waterloo is going to be attacking first, but oh well, doesn't matter. A Vigil also getting taken off is a little bit interesting. Tell me, do you have any insight on this, Patrick? Like what? Like, because honestly, I'm a little bit confused. I'm beyond
Why
confused,
the Ash
actually.
ban?
Yeah, the Ash and the Vigil. I feel like those very random.
Again, you know, Vigil sometimes, you know, it's Waterloo. I'll be honest, because they took off Western's map, those could be a little bit of some trolly bans, like, in
No,
general.
seriously, I'm like
I
trying
honestly,
to dig
you know,
so hard.
if you really want, like, you know,
Honest
me to
opinion, I need to
stretch
know your thoughts.
everything, it's like, oh, well, the Ash can use projectiles to get rid of gadgetry that's stuck in, like, really hard to reach places, like, let's say,
Like, I
Melusi
thought
gadgets,
Amira.
or Fenrir devices that are very prevalent in a Night Haven Labs strong defense. But, that being said, that argument is flawed. Because you can get rid of that with a Brava, with a Twitch, with a Zoph. There are so many other ways. You have to just assume that I think Waterloo is going to have some fun with this. That is what I think, is that Waterloo is just trying to have some fun with this. It's probably all being schemed up by Gug, if I had to make a wild guess. But I'm becoming a fan
What, is
of the guy
Gug
really
like
quick.
the troll of this? Is Gug like the odd man out? You know, like that picture of all of the soldiers lined up, and then there's just a clown like right in the middle.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's running Fuse Shield again. So I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right, because I mean, the guy was running Fuse Shield in Clubhouse. I think he's doing the same thing here. So again, sorry, I'm just a little tired. I,
A little bit of an
I
EP
think
boy.
that-
You're an EP kid.
Yeah, just a little bit, bro. But I think that now needs to be focused on the EPness cannot be said for Waterloo. They need to focus on getting this IT breach, and with that, they'll be going through to the connector wall. Hopefully, pressure coming there second as well. However, that IT breach will be opened up, and now it's going to be all on Western. How are you going to be able to defend the fact that this pressure has been taken? And next step, I would assume, is going to be getting anyone onto catwalk or maybe that command hallway, but you need to start creating that second lane, as talked about before. It seems like they're just going to use that fuse shield to walk up catwalk, so again, seems like Gug doing Gug things, taking ground with that fuse shield in hand, maybe drawing out a little bit for his teammates. I would assume a second lane of pressure is going to have to start very soon with a minute 40 left on the board if Waterloo wants to make this first round their own.
I think somebody is still holding up Raptors a little bit, or maybe I'm wrong now.
Oh yeah, no, they're just walking
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like it was somebody, but I think it was just the outline through the wall. Regardless, Ben is going to be the first one to get taken down, and it's going to be a 4v5. The boys on Waterloo with the man advantage, and it seems like R6 Tracker is going to be looking to get any cheeky kills that are over by Raptors. Not only that, but Thermite is going to be opening up the wall, which is just going to give these boys an even bigger line of sight to work with. But these boys on Waterloo better be careful. It also does seem like you were talking about the other lanes. It seems like coming in through Waterfall is what a bit of Waterloo is going to be doing. We're going to have some, of course, pressure from Raptors and then pressure from behind as well. Are they aware that Gug is literally walking right in? Well, Tracker definitely knows as he takes him down. That's going to equalize up the score to a 4v4 and actually make it a 4v2 as two more picks are going to be coming out in favor of the boys on Western. It's going to be up to Mr. Oogs in a 1v4, but wow. A round where Waterloo ended up having the man advantage first will unfortunately only have that pick come out in their favor. The rest aren't going to be scathed at all. Western coming out with their first round and their first defensive win.
I mean, that was probably the first take on Command Server where I didn't see the connector wall being broken at all. There was no attention towards connector or electrical. And yes, it was kind of a little bit of an awkward take for the defense to react to. But once they did, I mean, Waterloo they weren't winning their ones. They just started to get cut down. And the Azami really, really helped there. I mean, Azami is such a great operator because it's someone who you can rely on when a breach doesn't go your way. The attack gets through. Gives the defender that second avenue of cover. And Western utilized that absolutely beautifully.
10 seconds to go.
I will say, on this basement site now, again, tank assembly, it's going to have to be Western, who look like they're kind of trying to turtle up. No, never mind. I see the Ella roaming on storage. And again, sorry if my voice like gets deeper sometimes. I swear I'm literally just yawning. I think I've yawned like 5 times.
Don't stop it! You're literally low-key making me yawn.
Yeah.
You literally just talked about yawning and I just took the biggest yawn ever.
They do say it's contagious, but right now, Oogs as well is also becoming a viral disease that Western just cannot cure, wasn't able to do it in that clubhouse game, and it's going to be the first thing to pick off the Bandit. So right now, there's going to be no tricks that can potentially go down unless it's from the Kaid or not, I mean, the Mute. But even then, again, to see someone mute tricking, I mean, I don't think that really works out too well. So again, don't really think that's going to be a possibility, but it's a good job from Western finding the first pick. But just like that, Waterloo, they ramp up the aggression, they take that vending kitchen control, they find the pick on the Ella, and right now, they just have to worry about the rest of the defense, who have turtled up in sight.
Yeah, I was going to say, are they aware that the Ella is off-site? But I guess they were, and now that she's dead, it's a 3v5. The boys on Waterloo looking a lot better this round already than they were in the last round. Unfortunately, that C4 isn't going to hit anything at all, and it's going to be a minute and a half remaining. Of course, starting to get this vertical play. We're going to be trying to shove these defenders in corners and in little spots to basically just limit where they're able to run. However, that SMG-11 is going to take a down none other than the Thermite, and with that, it'll be a 2v4. Another person is going to fall on the side of Western, and Elemines are popping up, but are they aware that this Fender is going to be tucked all the way by those cargo stairs? We will see, but first one to get taken down is going to be none other than the Mute. Unfortunately, no matter how long you hide, you cannot escape the Gug as he kills that final remaining player on Western. First round, a little bit rocky. More than rocky, it was horrible over the side of Waterloo. It seemed to have brought themselves back, and we are on leveled ground yet again, back to 1-1.
And again, they're going to find the first 2 picks, and Bianca, what do? They just stop. They just stop. They don't force anyone downstairs. They clear out the vertical and exo. They waste the mute C4. They make sure they send multiple bodies down vending, and they play off of contact on each other. And what does that mean? Well, it means they win the damn round. So playing, again, a little more slow on the attack, a little more composed is Waterloo. And just like it did in the last round of Club, it benefits them on the second round of Labs. So I don't want to say I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but I think I've kind of called the fact that Waterloo does really good when they use their early aggression as they have the entire series so far, but then just kind of halt and reevaluate where they have their players positioned and what space they can take. And through that, then they just have such a more successful attack, and it really proved there.
Exactly. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of teams are, will end up performing a little bit better once they're able to analyze their situations. You have to know when to be aggressive and when to sit back and when to think about doing things before you actually act upon them, which is basically just kind of like something that happens in everyday life. You got to think before you make your actions, before you do something. And with that, wall is already going to get opened up thanks to Miss Callie. And already it's going to be some early pressure coming in on the side of Waterloo. Western need to hopefully hold their own as best as they possibly can. Not only that, but it seems like Waterloo is basically just going to completely disregard anybody that might be roaming, and it seems like they might just be going for a full take downstairs, except for, I guess, one coming into that waterfall. Never mind, I speak way too soon because it seems like, I was literally saying, oh my god, of course, like a caster's curse. As I'm saying this, it seems like nobody is gonna be safe. Not even this Oryx as he gets taken down. He thought he was a free man, but no, he's not. A 4v5. Now the boys on Waterloo securing themselves 1 pick, and Western might secure themselves 1 if they are lucky. Unfortunately, that MP7 is gonna miss, and not only that, but he seems like he's gonna take the course and go back to site. It's too much aggression right
I won't let this one
I thought Klectro, just if you hold just the trigger discipline there. I know he wasn't aware. You had a second player walking through that vending door, that double door into pool or games again, no matter what you want to call it. That could have turned out really well there for the Bandit, but instead, Klectro, at least playing smart, was aware the position was found out and instead dives back deeper, helps the defense and turtles up into sight. And even though the trade goes the way of, at least for the start, Waterloo, it will be Western who claw their way back into it. The Cali off the board. 2 on max HP. And 1 on 19 and 20 is the story right now that you gotta watch for the side of both the attack and the defense as the take comes through. Mod, is he just gonna walk into assembly? There's no way. There's no it happens. There's no way that works. But it is.
my God.
And even with the
It would be
bulletproof camera there for the call out, they're gonna find the pick they need. And now, there's no way this Bandit just swings onto this unchecked. But it's gonna happen. The plant goes down, but the thermite is gone. 2v2 situation, and there we go. There's the playoff contact. Mod doing a beautiful job. Knows where the positioning of the first is. Here's the positioning of the second. A great job covering all possible angles. And Mod shows why he is one of the best in the CCL for now.
For now, great job, Mod D. I believe that was definitely a 3-piece, maybe even a 4-piece, but that was incredibly done. The boys on Waterloo bouncing back quite nicely after that first round, which was a little bit shaky, a little bit rocky. And with that, it seems like the boys on Western are going to be going back down to the basement. Not even going to give Kitchen a try or anything, but I guess, oh, no, never mind. They're going back upstairs. Realize, sorry. My bad. The only site that they've won which has been upstairs. The other two were not too good. I'm curious to see if they do win up here. Are they going to go back downstairs, take that risk in the basement, or if they're going to change up their strategy, go kitchen? I guess we're not going to find out right now. Unless they win, then we'll see. But until that happens, upstairs is where we're going to be going back. And maybe this time we'll see Waterloo come out successful, considering the first round they did end up having the advantage, but threw it away quite quickly.
Well, I will say, while in ranked, a lot of times I do see people using their tertiary bomb site on cafeteria and kitchen. Usually, in at least my experience in collegiate esports so far, the tertiary site on Nighthaven Labs, a lot of people really do like that storage control on the first floor. So, again, we will see what tertiary bomb site comes out, but if I were to guess, I'd actually think that storage and control, we might be seeing a little bit of that. But so far, you know, that's not going to be the thing we got to focus on. We got to focus on the IT breach right now. And Waterloo, they're going to have to open it all up quickly. But they're making good pace right now. They have drones pre-placed, one on Catwalk. They have a little bit of free intel as well. The nade's going to go from the Thatcher. The fuse goes through to try to clear any potential tricks from Bandit. And then the wall should be opened up very cleanly. Very well done from Waterloo. Very efficient. And they have the IT breach they need.
Well, that was quite fast. Not even a minute into the round, and that wall is already going to be opened up very nicely. The boys on Waterloo have a great access point, but like you said, it's a lot more effective if they're able to kind of get 2 lanes of entry. That upside down rappel might bear some fruit if they're lucky, but he better be careful if he doesn't want to get his head shaped up. Don't want a little bit of a haircut. As for everybody else, already seems like the first one to go down is going to be none other than this Dark. A 5v4 in the favor of the boys on Western. It seems like they're pretty good at holding this place down. Raptors is going to be in control for the boys on Waterloo, but will they be able to really do much with this? We'll find out. It's going to be none other than Gug, but we'll see how well this goes.
Right immediately, I mean, Dark's going to be gone for the side of Waterloo, so like you said, the buck now gone, but at the same time, that doesn't really affect a whole lot this late into the round, other than they're just being gunned down, honestly. I mean, the take has already been done. It seems like Waterloo, they want to go for that same thing, but they don't really do too much on control. They just take that Raptors and IT Breach side. But for the second time in a row, they're going to be getting picked off a little bit prematurely. Seems like, though, Oogs has been able to find them another way back in. The Azami gone, and that's actually going to be no more Kiba barricades coming out from the side of the defense. So, again, I don't know if Azami had used all their Kiba barriers, but with there being 47 seconds left on the clock, I'm going to go ahead and assume probably still had 1 or 2 more left in pocket based on the time. Oogs now making his way into IT, and this is good ground being taken here, but again, it's going to come out from gunfights. Maud, the first one to make that stand true, finds one of the Raptors. Hishe, another one. Oogs finding the trade back onto FanDuel, and right now Hishe should take the swing on the Raptors, and it's exactly just that. Taking the head off of How Ironic, and because of that, 2 straight times Waterloo have tried this take, 2 straight times they found it almost unsuccessful, barring a clutch. 2 straight times it's come down to the very last second, and as of right now, Gug is going to make sure, or Oog's going to make sure that he can't make it 2 straight times that they've lost, has to take the wrist swing on the barrier, dancing around, but no, Lime is going to find the pick around the Kiva barrier, a lot more stressful than we thought it was going to be at first. Oogs almost didn't make it 2 straight losses on that attack, but it is going to be Western to defend command 2 straight times. And I will say, based off of what I've seen so far, they've done a really good job with the Azami, just being able to make sure those Kiva barriers have stayed up. Again, they haven't really been cleared out all that well, and because if you're peeking them and trying to clear them out, you're just going to get your head taken off from a defender peeking the other side. So, again, it seems like right now the Azami is working for the side of Western, at least on that top floor. I'm kind of honestly questioning the ideals around Waterloo's take upstairs there. It's been countered out once pretty badly. It just got almost worked for them the second time in that 1v1 gunfight, but for the most part, if Oogs doesn't find that kill, if the Fenrir just plays time and doesn't swing out, I mean, again, that could have been a Western round where we're really looking at it, and it wouldn't have come down as close as Oogs should have been able to make it. I mean, again, I think that was a little bit of, if anything, a mistake from the Fenrir on the side of Western. And that round could have been definitely won a lot more comfortably. Regardless, it will be still 1 out, though. I think Waterloo, they've got to change up the way they attack that top floor site against Western's current defense that they hold up.
Well, as this round continues to move forward, the answer to my question has been answered, or the answer to my question has come about. They are going to be going back down that basement. I'm curious to know where they're going to go if they do end up winning or losing this. I'm sure that if they lose it, I wouldn't expect them to go back down here, as that is going to be the final round before a split. But anyways, I digress. Moving forward, shrinking is already going to happen, and already one successful thermite charge down. Just waiting for the second one. It seems like the real goat is going to be Mr. R6 track, or at least for this round. The bandit tricking coming up from the side of Western is nothing to scoff at, doing absolutely incredible. But with that, that hatch is not going to be reinforced. However, are they aware that there is going to be none other than a castle upstairs? Yeah, being a little bit cheeky, they are sure that there are going to be rotates, but where this castle may be hiding, they're unaware, and that might bite them in the butt if they're not careful.
I mean, this drone is going to find out the positioning, but I'm honestly a little bit confused on why they didn't just slot Mod back on the Maverick. That was something we saw the first time they were attacking this bottom site, and they opened up the breach relatively quickly, and it gave Waterloo time to really flesh out their attack through vending and what would be through Exo in the breach. So again, I'm a little bit confused on the lineup change-up. Obviously, they feel confident in it, and how ironic, rightly so, is feeling confident as finds the first pick onto Klex. So again, it's going to be Waterloo with the first pick. I feel like they've almost found entry almost every round that I believe I've casted it. There aren't many rounds where you see Waterloo being the team getting first picked onto, but now FanDuel is going to even things back out through the vertical angle. What a disgusting shot onto Dark. It's going to be able to even things back up with 50 seconds left. This one, I was about to say, isn't looking too good for the attack, but right now, Gug, as he's very much known for, is building back up that offensive pressure, finds R6 Tracker in the Bandit, and now you gotta really wonder, on the side of Waterloo, where do you go from here? Do you still commit with 30 seconds left to a breach? Or because you have the players in commitment on vending, do you just send it? And are they aware about the Wamai? Yes, that drone has definitely spotted him, and because of that, I don't believe, yes, the Wamai is gonna have much of a chance. The Jaeger are going to be able to find one, but Mod, they have that Exo control now, and they can build off of this. It's just going to be FanDuel sitting in Nanotech Hall. I don't believe they know the positions, and Lime is taking a gunfight onto Tank. Has one, I believe, in the breach that needs to worry about first. Can't hit the shots, and because of that, FanDuel will swing out and find one, but Lime is going to be able to take the gunfight and engagement and lose out, and because of that, it's going to leave FanDuel in a 1v2. Swinging around the Exo door, isn't aware of the level change from the Thermite, and it's a great play all around. Waterloo with another round on the board, and just like I said earlier, Nighthaven Labs is kind of defender favored. Even though Waterloo couldn't break out on that top floor attack, they've been able to pretty much run wild everywhere else.
Well, not only that, but losing 3 straight rounds in the basement isn't going to be going too well for the boys on Western. And like you said, the kitchen site doesn't seem to be that tertiary site. Instead, it's going to be that control and storage room, which is exactly what we're looking at right now. Western using their last card to see if they can make a play and even out the score to a 3-3. Waterloo been doing great. Western not doing too bad either. We'll see if they're going to be able to tie it out or if they're going to leave split as they did on Club at a nice 2.
Well, again, you know, if you're Western, I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is a must-win round, especially because it is Waterloo's map. Waterloo is probably better defensively on it as they are attacking because, again, this is a defender-sided map. It's a hard map to attack and gain control of. So, I don't know. I mean, I see this right now. You say Western have played a good map. I'm actually going to elect to differ. I don't think they've shown that they've played a good map. I think they've shown a good top-floor defense. But even then, one of the 2 rounds they won came down to a 1v1 that I honestly don't even think should have happened. It should have been able to be won at that 2v1 if the defender just doesn't peek out and overswing and give Oogs the chance to even make that play. So, again, I'm going to go ahead and think that Western, you got to see more here out of this defense. Hopefully they can get it done here on storage, because if they go down 4-2 on Nighthaven, I'm going to be an early one to call it. I really don't see them pulling it back into overtime.
Well, we'll see how well this goes. Already a little bit of pressure, and it seems like already Thermite off the board. That is not going to be a great operator that you want to get taken down this early. Not even a minute into the round, and that's going to be quite unfortunate. Hopefully, that bug is going to have some hard reach charges in his pocket, but just about 2 minutes remaining at Waterloo with the man deficit. We'll see how far they are able to get. I'm curious if that garage wall is opened up at all, and if so, are Waterloo going to be able to come in through anywhere else? But as I say that, it seems like Gug, of course, the man with the most Koyuni, the most balls, is going to be able to get himself in there like swimmer. And this is what I like to see from Gug. Remember when he was on that Fuse shield, he was being a little bit too aggressive for my liking. And wow, that didn't last that long at all. Actually, I don't even know what just happened. I literally saw Gugger get in there, and they planted the bomb, and then that was it. I'm not sure what the plan was, but
that is exactly what I needed to see there out of Western. Waterloo go for an aggressive take, and they get met right back with aggression. It's punch, counter punch. And Bianca, that is the most clinical round you will ever see from Western because of the fact that Waterloo did not take any steps to effectively clear out that top floor. The vertical was left completely wide open because the operators on the top floor were able to get their picks on the people trying to clear them out. In transition over to the Blitz and the IQ, or was it the Zoph? Regardless, it just all happened so quickly. But I love Western's ability to play retake there. I love the roaming presence. It's what you have to have in a successful storage and control defense. And it really begs the question earlier, why didn't they just go there before? that was by far their best defensive round.
But then again,
Easily.
though, you have to see the way that Waterloo attacked that as well. Like, I feel like that was such a very,
Listen. That is true. I understand that. But at the same time, the fact that that was their most dominant round cannot be ignored. If that's what Waterloo's best was on that attack there, that was pitiful. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Western really showed some bite back there. I got to say, we're kind of wanting that a little bit earlier from them, but they win the much-needed round that, in my opinion, had to be won. Now let's see what they have in store on attack.
It is going to be Mod D, who's going to be trying to get cheeky. Unfortunately, isn't going to get too aggressive as of right now. He's waiting for people to come in, but that will not be the case. Of course, going to be going upstairs for the defense. Makes the most sense. Didn't mean to rhyme there, but here we go. Not only that, but a Flores is going to be great. There aren't going to be any Keeper barricades, though. A zombie on the board, but it's not going to be played by the boys on Waterloo. Instead, though, this wall seems like it's going to get opened up. But, of course, the Bandit doing everything in his power to trick it out. Not only that, but the Tubarão is going to be helping him as well, of course, infamously going from below Madi, trying to scope out anybody. Of course, this is what happens all the time. You try and go from below. Surprised they don't have a Zofia in order to kind of deny that bandit tricky, but regardless, doesn't matter. Just about 2 minutes remaining in the round, and nothing too crazy has happened.
Right, I mean, immediately, I agree with what you said. You could have brought a Zoph, you could have brought a Maverick, but this time, we're going to see the DMR that Maverick has working on the other side of the story. It's going to be the Tubarão to find the first pick onto the Brava, but then the reswing comes in, and the Flores will clean him off the board. Now, with Rafters, I believe, was almost going to say free, but no, definitely not just yet. It's going to be Guggerton as well on the other side to find the first pick onto the attack on the side of Hishe, or second, pardon my mistake. And it's going to be the Thermite off the board as well. And based on the positioning of Gug, I was going to say he really should find this third onto the Thatcher. Thatcher having absolutely no idea that Gug was playing that close to the door! Swinging the window, Gug almost had the wall bang, but it's not going to happen. R6 Tracker gets rid of him, but with a minute left, both attackers taking some damage, and control still being found out by the defensive side. Western really have to do a lot in these last, next 20 seconds if they even want to have a doable take. But right now, Dark is trying to shut that down, finds one, knows the Flores is now on the Rotero drone, just trying to open up maybe a walkable wall through that breach. But even then, I think, barring a miracle, it might be too little, too late. Tracker really needs to use these flashbangs effectively if he wants to isolate gunfights, but that's not even gonna happen. Dark is just gonna ego swing the breach. Be Challen, man. And he's gonna be able to take the head off of Western's last, and that's going to be Waterloo with a great start on the defensive end. Finds the first round on the defense, and they're gonna go right to control storage? No, they're gonna switch it up and go tank assembly, as I would have figured. It kind of messed me up a little bit there. I was like, are they really going control storage that early on? That I would have really loved to see that. That would have been very interesting, but no, they picked tank assembly. And if this is the sign of anything to come, right now, Western, they need to find a way to deal with Gugger on the roam, because Gugger was just able to take way too much space and do way too much for himself and the team as a whole from one man. And on the Cav now, I'm going to be very worried if Western does not clear him out.
Honestly, Gug coming in with the most aggressive attitude possible. They got to be careful for him. Not only that, but speaking of Gug, he's going to be all the way on that top floor on none other than the Caviata. That is going to be a big thorn in the side of Western if they're not able to get rid of them. Hopefully, they realize where he's at. I feel like having a Jackal would be great in a situation like this. And as I say that, I realize that the bug has been swapped out for a Jackal, which I like. I like that they're adapting and they're going to be changing it up. I think maybe they realize that there's a Caviata or somebody that is going to be a cheeky roamer. They want to deal with him. And honestly, having Go to roam, I would be scared too. I would most definitely have a Jackal to make sure that absolutely no shenanigans are going to be going on while we are around. The round begins, and we'll see how well this goes, as the wall might just already get opened up pretty preemptively pretty early on. The 2-bit owl is only going to be able to slow down that wall from opening, but other than that, it doesn't seem like any denial is going to be able to get placed.
I mean, absolutely. Again, Gug just seems like on this Cav, just given so much space for free. Everybody is right now just trying to deal with the breach. And I get that that's good. I actually, if anything, I like to see that. Because you do not want to challenge a Cav one-on-one. That's the easiest way to counter out a Cav. Is simple. You bring two people and you just play off of each other. You play off the contact. And that's going to be the 2-brow gone. Oog's going to be picked off the board early. I know they still haven't dealt with this Cav. It's going to be very crucial to see how Gug affects this late round action, if he can stay alive until then. Maybe possibly utilizing some vertical angles? Who knows? But all I know right now is that Gug is going to find the first onto the Jackal, and that is huge, because the Cav is one of the roamers who can counter the Jackal out by using that silent step. The boots do not appear on the visor, the scanner of Jackal, and right now, it's going to be because of that Waterloo are running wild. More importantly, Dark, who has done an absolutely beautiful job. And are you kidding me? Is that an interrogation that I just saw come down? I believe it is! And because of that, it's going to be everybody just running out. But no, I don't actually think so at all. Now that I think about it, there was nothing that was saying your position is revealed. And I think everybody just knew where the thermite was and just swung him. Waterloo, what are you doing? Hishe, I mean, doing a great job there of just backing up and letting them throw bodies at him. That is one of the stupidest plays I think I've ever seen. If Western win this round, Waterloo, you've really sold one here. But I will say, I think the Pulse sees the laser sight of that thermite, knows where he's playing an Animus. He's gonna open the jump out. No, hasn't vaulted out through just yet. But the shot will put Hishe down to 5 HP. 30 seconds left to go, and how ironic is going to play this one slow, sweet, and steady. Going to rotate around to Exo and maybe retake through Nano. Try to see if he can maybe find a sightline onto this thermite, or burn time and have to make the thermite plant. With no smokes, that's exactly what the Pulse is going to do. The thermite needs to choose a good position, and that's not going to be one that's going to be noted. I'm sure the call is going to be made, but no! In fact, I don't believe the Pulse knew the thermite was planting at all. And because of this, the thermite's just gonna escape and hold the breach! And because of that, Hishe is going to pull a 1v4 from the depths because Waterloo absolutely threw that round.
No way. Oh my god.
That is
Why would you
that is the
all
stupidest
run
play.
out?
That is the
Oh
stupidest
my
play you
God.
will see this season in CCL. Mark my words, unless Waterloo are willing to prove me wrong. I'm sorry to point that out, but as a caster, You just gotta call it as you see it.
Defend
That
and
is the
protect your
dumbest
bombs
thing
from
I've
being
seen this
defused by
season.
attackers.
Nah, that was such a sell, and for what reason?
No
Waterloo,
reason.
that
You
was
could be
so
up 5-3. You could be up
unnecessary.
5-3.
Oh
You could be
my
up 5-3.
gosh.
That is
That's
actually
disappointing.
insane. I mean, again, give credit to Hishe where credit's due. I mean, how much better do you play that scenario? You can't. That, like, Hishe had great, I guess, awareness of the fact that, hey, you know what? When it comes down to that Pulse 1v1, he waited for the Pulse to back off. I mean, you get the plant down, but
5 seconds left before insertion.
even then, I'm almost left speechless. At this stage of
Objective
competitive
to
play,
locate a bomb and defuse it.
you really need to treat your opponents better than that. People will make you pay at this level. These are not bot players, like, at the end of the day. These are still champs, and I'm not saying that champs are necessarily, you know, again, we're not comparing anything to ranked here, but these are comp-level players who are capable of making you pay for simply doing stupid stuff.
Attackers have
And
located a
Wow.
immediately, Waterloo are at least going to find the first pick. So, again, look, I'm not calling Waterloo a dumb team. That was a dumb play, sure, but at the end of the day, they're also a great team. It's just you need to be treating Western with a little more respect. Win the rounds that they give you, and take them, because you very well could give them momentum and see Western come back. For now, the Finkel will be off the board, though, and that's definitely a way better start for Waterloo to start a round. However, I've usually seen them start rounds off very well, but their ability to finish rounds sometimes has also been a little bit lackluster.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that breach shouldn't even be open right now. We have a tuba down, and we also have a bandit.
Yeah.
I don't think that wall should be opened at all. Seeing it get opened up extremely early, I think that was like 30 seconds, 40 seconds into the round already, and it was literally opened up. Maybe a little bit more, maybe like around a minute. Regardless, that wall should not be opened up, but I mean, it is, and it's a little bit disappointing because, I mean, like I said, we have a tuba down, we also have a bandit that's able to. Anyways, the
bomb diffuser.
drone is going to come out, but unfortunately, it's not going to do too much for the boys on Western because it seems like Oogs is just the goat of that. Six Tractor's going to take down Mr. Mod D, but we'll see if he's going to be able to clutch out this round. He's going to need to find himself an ace, and the ace
There we
will
go.
not matter. Waterloo finally locking in a good round despite having the wall opened up quite early. We'll close that out in a 1v4 great fashion, and this is, I believe, going to put themselves at match point. Yes, it will.
Well, 5-4, so not quite at match point just yet. You know, they would have been
Or
at match
almost,
point
they will be.
if they didn't throw
will
that
be.
1v4 at the end.
So,
No.
so-
But I will say, Waterloo, it seems like, you know what? Okay, at the end of the day, yeah, I can roast y'all. It was a dumb play a round ago. But that round is over. They lock in for the next round,
Attackers
and they
need to
handle it
locate and
just
defuse
about
the
as
bomb.
well as you honestly could have imagined, barring giving up that breach a little bit early, like you said in the beginning, Bianca. I will say, maybe it's just because they're confident that it's their map, and that they're on the defensive side now, and they had that 4-2 split.
Bomb located by
But it's also, that 3-3 split on attack, because usually you wouldn't expect to win 3 rounds on an attacking split in Nighthaven. But even then, you know, Western have kept this thing close. So, yes, while rounds won by Waterloo, we've talked about it before, have looked a lot more dominant.
5 seconds. to
Western
insertion.
still have 4 rounds here, and I'm not saying this one's necessarily, you know,
Attackers objective
out
is to
of
defuse
reach
the bomb.
for Western to bring to OT. I know I said that earlier. I think simply it's going to come down to the fact that if Waterloo just simply don't sell around, they'll end up winning it.
Oh, for
They
sure.
just need to kind of, you know, slow down a little bit, and they did that that last round. So again, I'm glad to see that they're at least aware of just thinking like, hey, you know what? Yeah, that was a pretty dumb play what we pulled off before, but it seems that they're at least capable of just locking back in when it matters. They take that next round very handedly. But I really, really like this from the Zofia. They know about the post though. No, but the Mozzie, the trade comes out though. The Zof was able to get 1 shot off, and because of that, it was a hip-fire headshot. Tracker's gonna be able to get rid of 1 as well. Does he know about the fact that there are 2 playing close? Tracker's in a great position. He can just wait for the defenders that have to eventually cross or play his life. The reload is going to be what gets the castle to the other side though, but you do not have to peek this Oogs. You can just simply, you saved the castle already. Just pull back, play your life. Please don't give your life away this early. You can play time. Dark going to be able to find another pick, though. But right now, Oogs is very adamant on the fact that he thinks he can beat this Buck out. But I think the Buck has won in the repositioning game. No, Oogs is going to be able to find the Buck instead. And because of that, now the advantage is going to go into Waterloo in a 3v2 advantage. Good job by Oogs, I guess, from recognizing the rotation. But wow, I really got to say, you would have thought that the Buck would have had that gunfight. And it's a little more to be desired there from the All-Star and R6 tracker. I really think you should have had that engagement there with Oogs. Because of that, though, it's a very pivotal gunfight, and I think Waterloo are in very good position right now to just hang back as long as you don't sell bodies. You know where the last two are coming from. You can play your long angles, you can play off your contact. It's exactly what Oogs is doing in tandem with this Azami and Dark. They're playing through this electrical take. They're playing through the connector as well. And they're doing a good job of isolating gunfights. They find the picks, they find the round, they go on match points, and they force Western to use their what may be final tactical timeout of the series.
Yikes, there we go. Western calling it in. They're gonna have to start to regroup and figure it out. Hey, look, this isn't that horribly disproportionate of a round or of a map. Sorry, not a round. Clubhouse was not horribly far apart. I believe it was 4-7. So we could see another 4-7 coming out. I do think that Western can bring this OT. The rounds that they've won, I mean, then again, Waterloo's definitely been trolling a couple of rounds.
100%,
But
right? I mean, yeah.
yeah, this realistically, this map could have been done at a score of like 7-3, straight up. Like not
mean,
even, maybe even 7-2.
Again, I don't
Realistically.
think, I know it's close, but because Waterloo's the #1 team, I don't think round differential is going to really screw them over in the end. If they get this 2-0, then it is what it is. None of it matters, and you know what? Hey, they had a little bit of fun with it. Yeah, there were some dumb plays here and there, but what's all good with a little bit of fun once in a while? I get it. I just simply, I got a little heated because I'm like, guys, you know, it's like Western are pushovers here. I mean, again, coming into this stage, I had them pinned as potentially one of the top teams in their group. So again, it speaks volumes the fact that Waterloo is willing to play this way with them. It also speaks volumes the fact that they are still winning. So to be fair to Waterloo, look, I can criticize them all I want about plays that shouldn't be made from a competitive level, because again, certain teams will make you pay for those mistakes that you give them. But Western just simply hasn't been able to do that, and Waterloo have gotten away with having a little bit of fun this game so far. So all power to Waterloo.
5 seconds to go.
But right now, if you're Waterloo, you've only thrown one round on the defense, and your other three you've won quite handedly. Right now, for the sake of Waterloo, I better see them close this one out. So it's going to be on that storage control. We'll see what they have in store.
To say, I think so too. I think enough is enough. I think it's time to close it out. Not only that though, but there's quite a decent top hold coming in. Not just having the Tuban out there, but I believe the Mozzie was also up there as well, helping out Mr. Oogs, which is gonna be a lot harder for the boys on Western to make their way through. It's gonna slow them down and hopefully kind of start to waste a lot of time. I would assume that, I mean, you're trying to get away with at least a minute and a half of time wasted already. It seems like time is starting to tick. Wall isn't going to be opened up just yet, and it might not be at all. It seems like they'll be sending the Ram and the Iana to start doing the dirty work for the boys on Western, trying to figure out if they can get any of the boys on Waterloo chip away at their health and at their lives as well.
Yeah, and again, as this attack moves underway, sorry, I was just trying to analyze what I was really just seeing there, breaking it all down in my mind. It seems like right now they're trying to get this top control, and Western, they're going to be able to get the first pick, but how ironic is going to be able to find one as well. How is that Yana alive? I feel like Gug hit her with a point-blank shotgun, but no, Gug's going to be the one in 6 health, and because of this, he's going to have to take the swing around, but yes, finally, the shotgun pays off. The Yana killed Gug, going on an absolute rampage. With the shot, he can probably find another in electrical, and he does. The next one, no, not quite, but Mod finally shuts it down. And again, like I said earlier, I feel like Waterloo, when they really just sink in and they don't throw bodies, I feel like they really can be a big force on whatever map they're on. they proved that despite having maybe a little too much fun. But regardless, 7-4 is 7-4, whether one defensive round was thrown or not. So give them credit at the end of the day. They were able to get the job done. It was a good job from Waterloo, and they are going to be able to confirm their first place in the CCL standings.
Well done, and of course, yet again, Oogs and Gugs being all the way on the top of the leaderboard, doing amazing. What a great map to a near sell. Definitely an odd couple bands here and there, but it ended up working out in their favor, even if, a couple rounds they kind of sold a tad a bit, but regardless, 2-0, having that 7-4 win on club. And I was that another 7-4? I believe that
It
was another
was another 7-4.
7-4
Two
win.
7-4s coming into the favor of Waterloo.
Perfect. Well done to the boys on Waterloo. And I guess a valiant effort considering that you're going against the top rated team, the number one team right now. Um, it's not too shabby.
No, not too shabby at all. So again, I just want to say as we close that out, we will have playoffs coming out next week. Stick around for those after. But for now, that was Waterloo. That was Western. I gotta say, any final words, Bianca, or can we send this one off soon?
I think we're sending it off, guys. Congratulations to Waterloo and Western. Thank you so much for a great game. Both you guys did amazing on behalf of the staff at CCL and, of course, me and Patrick. Hope you guys had an amazing Monday, and we will be seeing you next week for playoffs. Have a good night, guys.